Hello friends, and welcome to the another lecture on construction management and law. We are in unit number 3 and we'll today see the topic organizational structures, functions, roles and responsibilities of a manager. Alright, so today we'll begin up with the organizational structure. So in any organization, why it is so necessary to have a proper structure, we'll see one by one. Okay, so before actually seeing the organization structure, now we'll see the what is mean by organization. Organization is referred to a social group design, all right, to achieve a certain goal as number of people working together on a specific task to achieve a goal. Organization involves creating a structure of relationship among people working for desired results. Okay, organization refers to the instructions. Organization is one of the function of management. So on the left side you may see this figure. Infosys is a big IT MNC multinational company, and on the right side it shows the functions: planning, organizing, staffing, directing, controlling. We have seen earlier also. So it's a in the organization, number of people of different skill sets are working together to achieve a goal. It involves creating structure of relationship among people working for desired results. Okay, now in the process, determining, grouping and structuring the activities, then creating rules, regulations for effective performance of work at work, allocation necessary authority and responsibility, determining detailed procedure and system for different problem areas such as coordination, communication, motivation, etc. So in this slide you can see two images. One is on the left and one is on the right. So here you can get the answer. What is the role of proper organizational structure? On the left hand side you can see the entire organization is well structured, where the reporting is clearly defined, and on the right hand side you can see it's very scattered one. Working in the organization on right hand side is very difficult for employees, for reporting, and for higher authorities also to take the follow up. Very difficult, very different. Now organization principles: consideration of objectives, then combination of line and staff functions, division of labor or specialization, departmentation, decentralization, principle of scalar chain, principle of span of control, principle of unity of command, principle of balance, principle of flexibility, authority and responsibility. So these are the principles of organization. In that we will say departmentation, because it is very important. In any organization may divide into number of departments, looking towards the productivity, looking into the interest of the people, having different skill set. All these are categorized and divided in number of departments. So process of grouping the activities is commonly known as department. For example, in civil engineering, construction engineering industry, there are billing department. The people those who are working in billing department only work for billing documentation process. Designing department, designing of the entire structure is to be done. For that different skill set is required. Those faculty members, those engineers are having very skilled at designing the structures are work there. Likewise, departmentation is useful for specialization and fixation of responsibility. Departmentation concept is rise based on the organization functions. These functions are of two types. They are basic functions and secondary functions. So now we'll see a pattern which is used for departmentation, okay, for product and services. So in first we are having board of directors, below that managing director. Under the managing director we have product A and product B. Alright, so for product A, which require product, sales, services, accounting, we have product A and product B. For example, a company is producing a product A and product B. For that we have one managing director, and above that we are having board of directors. Okay, again pattern used in departmentation: grouping process by an equipment, departmentation by time. Then production manager is divided into four segments: spinning, dyeing, weaving and finishing. So as we have discussed, So departmentation is all about the categorization of the different people, looking towards their skill set, looking toward productivity and demand of the company. For example, pattern used in departmentation, grouping by location. For example, we need to divide by location, then head office, suppose it is there Kolkata, then central zone Delhi, northern zone, east zone, southern zone. Again it is again categorized, central zone for categorized Jalandhar division. Just like in irrigation department, we are having one center office, then Nagpur irrigation, then Wardha irrigation, then Chandrapur irrigation. Just like that, we have various branches. Okay. So concept of organization structure. So we'll see one by one. Line organization structure, functional organization structure, line and staff organization structure, committee organization structure, matrix organization structure, virtual organization structure, cellular organization structure, team organization structure, boundary less organization structure, inverted pyramid organization structures, lean and flat organization structure. So there are concepts. Okay, I will just go through one by one. We'll see majorly of important. In line organization structure, also known as scalar, military or vertical organization, perhaps it is the oldest form since it is from the very old time. In pure line organization and in departmental line organization, there are slight difference. We'll see. So majorly line organization structure categorized in two parts, pure line and departmental line. So in pure line, we both on the both sides we have production manager, but you can see in the pure line organization we have foreman A, foreman B, foreman C, but in the production manager it is divides into a same, because the same kind of work is to be carried out, so they have only categorized to a kind of category of foreman, and below that we have workers. Okay, some merits and demerits we'll see in short. We'll cover up only the important types of organization. The unity of command is maintained in a straight line. All persons at the same level of organization are independent of each other. The structure specifies responsibility and authority for all positions, limiting the area of action. Characteristics: line authority and instructions are vertical, that is, they flow from top to the bottom. Okay, the line of action is always from top to bottom, higher authority to the lowest. That is called decentralization also. Okay, merits: it is simple, disciplined way, promotes decision orderly, communication is transparent, easy for supervision, economical. Okay, in case of line organization. Now demerits: lack of specialization, absence of conceptual thinking, autocratic approach, problems and coordinations. So where it is applicable, it is suitable for only small scale organization where the number of subordinates is quite small. So where in the organization lesser number of faculty or staff is there, so line organization can be applicable there. Okay, then functional organization structure. Functional structure is created by grouping the activities on the basis of functional requirement of the achievements of organizational objectives. For this purpose, all the functions required are classified into basic, secondary and supporting functions. Okay, features: the whole activities of an organization are divided into various functions. Each functional area is put under the charge of one executive. For any decision, one has to consult the functional specialist. Limited span of control is there. That is the best part. In the functional organization structure, you can see the distribution or hierarchy of the authorities. Apart from the first head office, we have production, marketing, finance and personnel. Regarding personnel management, we will see in the latter part of the lecture. So plan number 1, plan number 2, so we have strategies plan A and plan B. If one fail, we adopt second. That kind of strategies can be made at this level. So this is all about the functional organization. So again, merits and demerits: high specialization, which overcomes the drawback of the first line organization structure. Then clarity in functioning, no duplication, satisfaction, control and coordinate. where calls for more coordination, clear line of authority is required, and slow decision making. As number of people involved is more, so it tends to the slow decision making. Stability: the establishment of functional organization structure become necessary as a small organization grows and business activity becomes more and more complete. So it is applicable for the functional organization structure become necessary as a small organization which is growing one and business activity becomes more and more complete. Then line and staff organization structure. In this organization structure, it refers to a pattern in which staff specialists advise line managers to perform their duties. Line people will give advices. The staff people have the right to recommend, but they have no authority to enforce their performance to the department. Features: this origin structure clearly distinguishes between two aspects of administration, planning and execution. Staff officers provide advice only to the line of officers. They do not have any power of command over them. The staff supplements the line members. You can see here regarding the line and staff organization structure, it is a well arranged kind of. You can see here production manager, then marketing manager, finance, personnel manager are reporting to the general manager and finally to the managing director. So well structured, well organized. Production managers, the lower one is worker and officer, salesman, assistant, all this a well organized way the image is showing all about. And advantages: it adds functional specialists into the pure line organization and thus aim at combining the merits of the two. It brings expert knowledge to bear upon management. Functional specialists provide expert advice to the management on a wide-ranging matters. It provides for better placement and utilization of personnel and leads to more skill development. Demerits: the line and staff relationship often lead to many frictions and jealousies. Line managers may depend too much on staff experts and thus lose much of their judgment and initiatives. It may happen the staff experts may remain ineffective because they do not get authority to implement their recommendation. Another chances and possibility of conflicts between line and staff. More frequently, line and staff relation becomes potent sources of friction, inefficiency, organization, ill health. Means not growing. Rivalry between them very often takes the form of animosity. Both lines and staff have their own viewpoints to offer relating to their problems. In line viewpoints, staff undermines line authority, staff think in vacuum, staff steals credit, staff fails to keep the line perform, and staff fails to give the sound advice to line. So this may be the reason where the conflicts may be happen between the line and the staff. In staff point of view, lack of authority to command line subordinates, resistance to change by the line, inability to make proper use of staff, allied by the special skills and ability in particular field, the staff is tempered to think that the solution to the problem recommended by him is best and needs to be enforced on the line manager. The line is also charged with being short-sighted and resistant to change. Now, how to minimize it? Basically, line and staff should understand the proper position in the organization. There should not be any miscommunication or any scattered idea regarding that. Line should be educated and encouraged to use staff effectively. The proper utilization of the available manpower is the key of any success of any organization. Okay, staff should render complete advice on the problem concerned. Staff should constantly strive to acquire the increase in the proficiency. That leads to the minimize of the conflict. Stability: it can be followed in the large organization where specialization of activities is required because it offers ample opportunities for any organization. Okay. In the matrix organization structure is essentially a violation of unity or command. Matrix structure is the realization of two-dimensional structure which emanates directly from two dimensions of authority. In matrix organization structure, a project manager is appointed to coordinate the activity of the project. In that case, the major role comes to the project manager. Personnel are drawn from their prospective functional departments. Each functional staff has two bosses, his administrative head and his project manager. You can see matrix organization equals to matrix structure plus matrix system plus matrix culture plus matrix behavior. We'll see some merits. It offers operational freedom and flexibility. It focuses on end results. It maintains professional identity. It holds an employee responsible for management of success of resources. Demerits: it calls for greater degree of coordination. It violates unity of command. Difficult to define authority and responsibility. An employee may be motivated. Where it can be applicable, we'll see. It can be applicable where there is a pressure for dual focus, pressure for high information processing, and pressure for shared resources, just like aerospace, chemical, banking, brokerage, advertising, etc. Committee organization structure, we'll see. Committee does not represent a separate type of organization like line and staff or functional. A committee may be defined as a group of people performing some aspect of managerial functions. It can be defined as committee consists of a group of people specially designed to perform some administrative work. A committee is body of person appointed or elected to meet and organize basis for consideration of matters brought before it, as per Allen. And as per W.H. Newman, committee consists of group of people specifically designed to perform some administrative work. You can see here committee of organization structure. Board of directors, finance committee, executive committee, then general manager, purchase committee, then production, marketing, finance, and personnel. Types of committee: formal committee, executive committee, advisory committee, standing committee, and line committee. So we'll see some advantages and disadvantages. Pooling of knowledge is there, effective coordination is available, effective communication also is there, motivation through participation of employees. Slow decisions, a lot of authorities are involved, most expensive, difficult to maintain secrecy, and compromise has to be there. Now, team organization structure. What is team organization? A structure in which the entire organization made up of the work groups or teams is known as team structure. Team structure are both permanent and temporary in nature as situation demands. The report to each other is the main feature of team structure. It leads to boundary-less organization in a borderless world. In team structures, we find cross-functional teams meant for improving lateral relations, solving problems, completing special projects, and accomplishing routine tasks. A cross-functional team comprises members from different functional departments such as marketing, finance, HR, human resource production, etc. Here, employees are more involved and empowered because of reduced barriers among functional areas. That is some of the best part of team organization. Now, virtual organizational structures, which is in need of today's era. It facilitates competitiveness in the global market. There can be alliance and partnership with other organizations. It is a flexible organization, remove all traditional boundaries. It is a temporary network of companies that come together quickly to exploit fast changing opportunities. It is bigger than traditional organizations. It requires strong IT platform. It is going to eliminate and avoid all boundaries for the business purpose. Okay, so after the detail we have gone through after the organizational structures, in the organizational structure the role of a personal manager, personal management functions is very much important. Now we will see the functions and roles along with the responsibilities of a manager and personal management. Karmachari management, Karmachari, personal. We'll cover who is a manager, Functions of manager, roles and responsibilities of a manager. Who is the manager? A manager is the person responsible for planning and directing of the work. He is basically the person who manage, who distribute, who plan, who take the review, monitor the work which is allotted to a group or individual, and taking correct action when necessary. So a manager is a person responsible for planning and directing the work of a group or individual, monitor their work and taking correct action when necessary. A manager is a person responsible for supervising and motivating employees and for directing the progress of any organization. Main thing, what are the functions of manager? Manager may be a team leader. It is a key person in the entire team organization. What are the functions? Planning, organizing, staffing, directing, controlling. At the beginning of the lecture we have seen this. These are also the key aspect of any organization: planning, organizing, staffing, directing, controlling. So behind that, a person involved is a personal manager. So interpersonal role is there, informational role is there, and decision making role is there. So roles and in the roles and responsibility of a manager, interpersonal role, informational role, and decision role are the three important categories. So in the interpersonal role of a manager, the role is categorized involve providing information and ideas. The first will be figurehead, then leader, then liaison. In the figurehead, a manager has a social, ceremonial, and legal responsibilities. He is expected to be a source of inspiration. People look up to him as a person with authority and a figurehead. Alright, in leader, this is where manager provide leadership for his team, his department, or perhaps his entire organization, and it's where the manager manage the performance and responsibility of everyone in the group. In liaison, manager must be communicate with internal and external contacts. He needs to be able to network efficiency on behalf of his organization. So here are some interpersonal role of a manager. Now, informational role of manager: monitoring, disseminating, and spokesperson. Okay, in this role, manager regularly seeks out the information related to the organization and industry, looking for relevant changes in the environment. He also monitors his team in terms of their both productivity and their well-being. As a disseminator, this is where manager communicate potentially useful information to his colleagues, to his employees and his team. And as a spokesperson, manager represents and speaks for his organization. In this role, he is responsible for transmitting information about his organization and its goal to the people outside it. And the decisional role of a manager, he is an entrepreneur, disturbance handler, resource allocator, and negotiator. In entrepreneur, a manager creates and controls change with the organization. This means solving problems, generating new ideas, and implementing them. Disturbance handler, where an organization or team hits an unexpected roadblock, it is the manager who must take charge. He also needs to help mediate dispute within it. As the resource allocator, a manager also needs to determine where organizational resources have been applied. This involves allocating funding as well as assigning staff and other organizational resources. Negotiator, a manager may be needed to take part in and direct important negotiations his team, department, or any organization. Now, what is personal management? How to manage all your staff? It is defined as obtaining, using, maintaining satisfied workforce. It is the planning, organizing, compensation, integration, and maintenance of people for the purpose of contributing to organizational, individual, and social goals. It is that part which is primarily concerned with human resource of organization. Elements of personal management: organization, job, and people. In the organization, see it to be the framework of many activities taking place in view of goal available in the concern. An organization can be called as physical framework of various interrelated activities. Job. The second element, that is jobs, tell us activities to be performed in the organization. It is said that the goals of enterprise can be achieved only through the functional department in it. And the people And the last, the foremost element is a personal management, is people, staff management. In an organization structure where the aim is to achieve the goal, the presence of manpower becomes vital. Hence, managing the people, managing the available manpower, managing the available human resource, which ultimately means I meant to convey that utilization of the available manpower should be proper in order to get the more productivity, more output. Personal manager is the head of personal department and he performs both managerial and operative functions of the management. Roles: provide assistance at top management. The top management are the people who decide the frame and the primary policy of the concern. All kind of policies related to personal and workforce can be framed out effectively by the personal manager. He advises the line manager as staff specialist. Personal manager acts like a staff advisor and assists the line managers in dealing with the various personal matters. Role: he may be a counselor, he may be a mediator, or he may be a spokesman. Personal manager attends problems and grievances of the employees and guide them. He tries to solve them in the best of his capacity. As a mediator, he is a linking pin between management and workers. He is sometimes management representative, he is sometimes faculty representative. As a spokesman, since he is direct contact with the employees, he is required to act as the representative of organization in committee appointed by the government. He is represent company in training program. So I hope you understand the organization, a well structured organization, and roles, responsibilities, the functions of a personal manager and personal management. So thank you very much, students, for listening me very patiently, and we'll meet very soon with another lecture. Thank you.